solar installed in your house by RJC Renewables back in August?
I did, yes. Roy's outfit was recommended to me by a colleague and friend at work who was extolling the virtues of Roy's company. So I invited a few people down before you, actually.
That's right, yeah. Actually, we were here that day and another company arrived.
That's right, yeah, I remember now. But yeah, I asked him to leave.
Yeah.
No, I'd had a couple of
too happy
quotes.
with us.
I'd had a couple of quotes already. One of them was a telephone number. One of them was actually cheaper than you, but you know, I don't believe. I believe in pay twice or pay less, pay twice. So yeah, Roy came, explained to me exactly what he could offer me, and one of the main things was for me was the rails as well, because it's not just about the solar panels, and because I mean solar panels, you can buy them anywhere. They're pretty much from the same manufacturers over in China as well, aren't they? But yeah, when Roy explained to me about the rails that mount these solar panels on the roof, then I figured, yeah, if you think about it, they're the only things that hold the solar panels on the roof. So a good strong gust of wind and you might end up with your solar panels.
I think it was the fact that we had the neighbour's house as well would be his roof rafter length is quite long, so he could fit a huge amount of panels on it. But so we decided to optimise them, and individual panels in that case. But we left a break between the panels because he wants to put an extension. And did you get that sorted? No,
I haven't done it yet. No, but
yeah, we're going to get the windows done, and that when the windows are in place, then for the bathroom, we're going to put in more panels. So it's only a matter of linking the system together.
Yeah.
But more so that the fact that the neighbour's house was shadowing in the winter months certainly half the roof, so that would affect the wattage and the voltage of the panels. So we had to put in a lot of optimizers here. I think it was explained in the way that he needed it explained.
And just for someone that didn't know what optimizing is, what is it?
Optimizations is all got to do with shadowing. So if you have 10 panels on a roof, them 10 panels linked together will act as one big panel. Okay, so if you have a chimney or satellite dish or whatever the case, some obstacle that's going to shadow one panel on the end, it causes a ripple effect through the rest of the string, all the panels. So all the panels will decline by 50%. So what you do is you put in an optimizer, it's about the same size of an iPad, and that's connected underneath the panel, which means that if that panel is shadowed, the rest of the panels will work at 100%. Now, all his panels have optimizers.
Yeah.
So that's what would have brought up the price of it.
Panel takes a hit from the direct sunlight. The way Roy explained it to me was it actually isolates that individual panel, and that will only give its maximum output of, as you say, maybe 50%, whereas all the rest of them will still continue to work at full power.
See, the Graham works with a company, there's a lot of engineers there, so I would have worked with some of them over the years, but they would have came to me to install the solar, but they deal with a lot of ECUs for cars and all that kind of stuff, so they'd be familiar with the technology there, and the technology when it's going on the roof, if there is shadowing, it has to be explained properly what can happen with the system in decline, especially in the winter months, because it's the winter you need it most. Summer it'll generate anyway because the sun is higher, but if there is shadowing from neighbours' houses, optimization is crucial there, you know.
And how have you found the system, Graham? Is it producing the electricity you're hoping?
Oh, and more besides. Since I had mine installed, a couple of colleagues and friends
That's
at
right,
work,
yeah. They're all fighting over them now.
Yeah, yeah. I'm quite persuasive when I want to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I compare my system with a friend who's got a system down in Limerick, and actually, I'm generating more power than him, and he's full.
Well, he wouldn't have optimizers. Again, that would have been designed from another company that I would have designed for, and they refused to put optimizers in at the time. And I did tell them that it was crucial to put them in at the time. So on any given day, if there was shadow on his roof, and they're in the same direction, Graham could be generating 50% more than him at any stage. So
yeah,
I think he's a bit cheesed off over that.
I was actually away travelling when Roy's company came in to do the installation. Now, I'm a bit of a cleanliness and tidiness freak, and I was really impressed when I got back. You know, I went over the place with a fine-tooth comb, and I thought, yeah, that's clean to my standards. So not only was it a damn good installation, it was well tidied up.
And how do you find the bills now, or even the hot water side of things?
Well, I've now got hot water whenever I want it, which before in the morning I used to have to come down and turn the immersion on. It's, I mean, now it's winter time, I'm getting oil fired, so I do get hot water through the oil system, but because the
oil is now the backup.
What do they call
an eddy?
The eddy, the eddy. Naturally, I noticed during the summer months that the eddy was drawing some of the electricity in the morning from the panels to heat the water before it then fed the rest back in the grid. Now, because it's an intelligent system, I can see that it's the eddy's effectively.
So the eddy, just to explain the eddy. The eddy is a piece of software that's connected to the immersion. It doesn't replace the immersion. It replaces a switch on the wall for the immersion. So if he's generating too much electricity, rather than going back to the grid in a healthy way, the eddy will call that down into the immersion if it's needed, heating the cylinder for free. So, you know, you should have hot water, if not all year round, with the eddy, because solar works all year round. It just needs daylight. But the more panels you've on, the more you're going to create, the more, you know, you're going to value from it, you know.
Yeah.
And Graham, did Roy kind of explain the system to you that you could grasp it, because it is so complicated? Did he kind of explain it to you that you could understand it in a way that you could understand it?
It was a very interesting conversation at the start, because Roy started pitching the conversation towards, I would say, a layman's terms, so anybody could understand it. And then when I started firing back technical questions at him, he was like, "You're an engineer, aren't you?" So I like the fact that you could tailor what you were telling me to. It was obvious that a non-engineer would be able to understand it all, but when I probed him with quite technical questions, he was like able to answer them really well as well.
See, a lot of homeowners will want to know the details but don't understand them, and that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I didn't always know this either, in fairness. So I explain it in a way that I explain to my partner or her family. You know, and it once you have passion with it, you can explain it very easily. You know, but the engineers obviously are easier because it's all down to the software and how the software works. Like we explained earlier on, I was talking about the inverters have certain parameters. Most inverters that are installed are just thrown in. That the parameters are not tailored to the house.
No.
So that's where the system doesn't work and does work.
And that's why when you'd explain the system fully to me, as I said, I'd had a couple of quotes from other companies that had come in, and their salesmen, I mean, I wouldn't call you a salesman.
Well, I am. I'm selling my company.
At the end of but at the end of the day, you know, you're an engineer yourself. You didn't try and sell me a system. You just explained to me what my options were. Whereas these guys were hard selling me a system that they had no clue about. You know, they're like, oh yeah, you need these amount of panels, and that's the maximum you can have, which incidentally was less than what you put on the roof already. And I think that was just because that was the optimum for them, a 10-pack or something.
Yeah, most of them kind of sell in the pack. I don't do that. I kind of tailor to the client's needs. ESB regulations are going to change anyway, and they're going to limit the number of panels that are allowed to put on the roof. But that's putting in a lower AC unit inverter that's going to come down the stream. His system there has a maximum size inverter, so he has 12 panels, but he could put up to, you know, another, say, 5 on that. And we'll optimise them as well when the roof is finished, you know. But even at that, he's off grid, you know.
Yeah. So intentions are coming back then.
Oh God, yeah.
The only reason I never had more panels fitted at the beginning is because, like I pointed out to Roy, I'm having a bathroom fitted upstairs, so I asked him to leave a gap in the middle so that I could put Velexes in. So when we
the builder will have a walkway there to go up and down and do their work. So when they're finished with that, then we come back and we'll fill in the walkway with the panels, you know.
Yeah.
Have it nice and neat.
Would you recommend to someone that was looking for panels to go with RJC Renewables?
Most definitely. That's not just, you know, a sales pitch. At the end of the day, I like the fact that Roy came in, spoke to me in words that I could understand, didn't try and sell me a system at all. He was explaining to me what all my options were, and you allowed me to decide how far I wanted to go with the system at the time. And we discussed future options as well. As I said, the other people who came in, for me, all they were interested in was selling me their bespoke system that unfortunately they had no clue about. You know, I asked them questions. Why do you recommend a 4.3 kilowatt inverter rather than a 5.2 or whatever? They had no idea. And when I asked them about the quality of the rails for mounting them on the roof, as I said, the big thing for me is I know it gets quite windy in Ireland, even though I've only been here for a year and a half. And the last thing I want to do is open the back door in the morning and find half my solar panels in the back garden rather than on the roof.
Most of our jobs are referrals, they're word of mouth. So we would get a lot of referrals from companies like themselves. But we've companies dotted around the country, as well as clients and they're all exactly what he's saying. They're all saying the same. So like they do talk to their neighbours and friends. So advertising, I kind of keep it to a minimum because I don't really need it. But I'm happy to speak to anybody on the phone and explain it. But you really need to be doing site surveys and risk assessments to figure it out. So when people are asking for a price of a system, it's a bit like asking for a price of a car.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you need to know how many family members you have, what big engine you want, what's the bills. There's a list of stuff that has to go with it, you know. And like once the site survey is done, then you can figure out what type of system can go in and how it's going to suit their needs. And again, now the tailoring with optimizers and direction of panels or what works are going to be done there in the future. Can you assist them with that? You know, just lots of it. And then we monitor the system then for life. We monitor the system to make sure that it's working. So if it does go offline, because it can, power cut can knock it off, or changing Wi-Fi can knock it off. It sends us alarms, and we contact them straight away. We would have had that with Bev as well.
The homeowner gets the app and they can see every day what they're producing.
Homeowner has access to the app. We've access to the system itself that we can go in the background if we need to change the settings or change parameters and the whole lot. Not every company would have access to that, you know.
No, and it's not so much the installation. I mean, as I said, I was impressed with, you know, the fact that you were so flexible about my installation, the quality of the installation, but the main thing is the support afterwards.
Yeah, well, look at that, and that's normal to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, no matter where, and I worked with other companies before, a similar thing, that the clients would contact me, you know, and I was the engineer when they should have been contacting admin. You know, they didn't. They were contacting me directly. They were getting direct answers, you know. So it works for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, testament to that. What you did the install in August. We're sitting here now in the middle of December, and
Still make it.
Thanks, Roy.
Thanks, man.